I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, I to stay on the go. I came to play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me, then I double up again, none of their knows. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted, so I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke, I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying.
Hello. Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. Robert, you can turn your camera back on. We can get ready to go here. Yes, it's another Thursday, and we're all excited to have a great program planned for you all tonight. Hey, Robert, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to have you on. We gonna definitely interested in sharing Gus launch with the audience so they can find out what you're all about. Why don't you take a second to just introduce yourself, and then we'll kind of thank our sponsors and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you, Lloyd. My name is Robert. I work for a company called Gust. We have a couple of platforms. We have a fundraising platform where angel groups, accelerators, incubators host their programs looking to work with startups. And startups can go on there looking for programs that are in their industry or area and apply to in hopes of working with these groups. I personally work on our legal workflow engine that helps incorporate companies and gives them an early legal stack called Gus Launch. And we also have a full-fledged cap table software platform called Gus Equity Management. On paper, I'm personally a QA engineer, but we are a startup, so our roles kind of change as we go. I also I do sales, I do customer support, I do junior marketing content, manage our operations, and complex.
Yes. That's fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned about all the different roles you do in a startup. I was down in Miami over the weekend at Embassy Suites, and so I noticed this guy. He was cooking breakfast, and then when I got ready to check out, he was actually behind the counter, actually checking people out. I said, "My goodness, I've never seen that before."
Yeah, that's how it goes. I often joke with my team members. We put on different hats and we show up in a different hat.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're looking forward to hearing, sharing some of the stuff with the audience. But first, let's make sure folks know about Startup on the Blocks, and we're all about founders and teaching them the best practices for building a startup. And I think one of the best practices is getting your company formed correct. So that's why I'm glad to have you on here tonight to kind of share how founders can actually do that. And so we have some sponsors that support what we're doing, and Florida Power and Light, they sponsor our lean stack training, our accelerator in a box training. So we get the state-of-the-art training for our founders. We have Industry Hotels. They've been with us sponsoring 3 of our 4 pitch competitions, and the First Bank is they also been sponsoring. They have sponsored our pitch competitions as well. We partner with the local chambers to kind of help them. They help us, what we're doing, putting the word out what we're doing. But they also give prizes to our pitch competition when there's like free memberships and stuff like that. Bantucola, they've been with us from the beginning. They actually help us out with our stream into all LinkedIn, YouTube, and all those Facebook and all those different places. And Collab, they came on as a pitch competition sponsor this past pitch competition, and they're giving out several hours of free consulting services. And the pitch contest winners have been taking advantage of that and to help them move forward. So that's exciting. And of course, we leverage the Small Business Development Center. So so Robert, you already introduced yourself, and we're waiting on Diana to come on. I hadn't heard back from her, but we definitely want her to share her story. So we'll keep an eye out for her to get her on. So if she's having issues that don't show up, you may have a little bit longer, Robert, to talk about the Gus launch, but I think it'll be worth it. Either way there. Yes, and so we got toward the end of the month. We're going to have to Keisha come back on and share what she's been up to and some of the successes she's been having. And the end of the month, yeah, this should be interesting. This is a new startup, and they also do the application stuff, host applications. So they said something interesting, Robert, and I can't remember. It's been so long since I applied for an application on the Gus platform, but they, how the companies that run the programs and put the application on there, they have, the questions on what you should answer and everything. And sometimes the founders don't know how to answer the questions. So they said their platform, they're going to have a little video or something to show that explain how to answer the question. So that was pretty interesting. So you all don't do anything like that yet, do you?
Well, we get that things are confusing and people have questions. We have live customer support chat. So
okay. So yeah, that's the approach you
can chat with them and talk to them about your questions.
Yes, and I want to point out at any time when we're on, you're welcome to ask any question about anything. We're open to supporting you, whatever questions you have when you have them. So don't hesitate to reach out here. Okay, and so we talk about the founder's journey quite a bit, and so we kind of use this chart to kind of help people figure out where they are along this timeline. And as you can see, it's like 3 years, and so it's actually a journey, But I think the most important part of the journey is the beginning part, where you learn those best practices, and so you can use those best practices, in the other phases of your startup. And so, are you familiar with that Lean Stack program that Ash has, that accelerator program?
I've heard of it, but I don't personally work with them.
Yeah, and so like what they do that's interesting. So in the first part is it's all about mindset, but that business model design is to me is a really good foundation piece. Is taking some time to learn how to design a business model that is scalable, and providing the tools for the founder to use to kind of exercise that business model. And there's several other tools that are in the platform too that allows customers, founders to kind of learn the best practices. So and that's kind of what the idea is about that. Yeah, and the mindset is, and this is kind of where we come in. So we're trying to work with the founders on this part right here, get that mindset, and then teaching them the best practice on this interlayer. And then we can kind of get them connected to some of the stuff out in the ecosystem. And for example, like in your case, Robert, if the founders don't have their company set up right, and you all specialize in the Delaware Corporation, which most investors or venture capital people, that's where they want you to be set up. And so this is part of that whole cycle of best practice. So if you don't do it right, then you have to go back. You do get somebody interested, you have to go back and change it, get it set up the way.
That becomes very costly. That becomes very time consuming. And most importantly, that puts everyone in a nervous space, especially if you're ready to collect investment. Now you have all this paperwork and time delay to get to that point.
That's exactly right. And so, but yeah, that's kind of what's important. And so, because there are a lot of opportunities out there, but you have to kind of know those best practices in order to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. And I think that's the purpose of we're here to kind of help you learn those best practices. So to save you some time and trouble, we have this is our playbook. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You get your mind right with this playbook, with the mindset playbook, and then like just talking about the Lean Stack stuff. And so like we recommend that startup school, but like this, so so I say F Success, that's one of the ones, and but so in other founder sites, so Gus is a founder site, right?
Yeah, I mean, we believe in being a company to help and foster startups.
Yeah. So yeah, and so but I was trying to remember how. So like so when somebody applies for an application on your site, like the first I think pitch thing that I participated in, we had to do. I mean, the first two we had to do our profiles on Gus.com. But what I'm trying to remember is what strategy do so whereas what F6S does, they kind of have the founders, and then they have all these partners that give freebies or discount stuff. But you all's approach is mostly just, but you all have some incentives too, like especially with your Accelerate program, and also with the actual the launch, the first launch plan as well, right?
Well, we try to help through software. I mean, we have a lot of tools to give founders feedback on based on answering questions by the founder, where they are, what they should be doing at this time, what else they could be doing, and kind of give them a path to go. So some of that leads to, hey, maybe it's time to look to an accelerator and apply to that, or maybe it's time to set up your company and start opening a bank account or things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah.
Or be a software solution.
Gotcha. Yeah, and participating in these startup communities. We had a startup social. I guess that was Tuesday night, and then we had the 1 Million Cups, and we had a really good crowd at the 1 Million Cups here in Pensacola this past weekend. So it's just a chance to network with other founders and other ecosystem players that provide services to founders and stuff like that. So yep, and so we offer these events every week and giving folks a chance to participate. And so, like I said before, if you think of that bullseye thing, you're in the middle. We kind of work with you, and then this is our toolbox, what we have to offer you. But we're literally trying to get you ready for these other events here. And so this is kind of. Let me just flip over to my screen here, and I want to show people some of these opportunities that are out there. So like this is an example for that Amazon announced. Let's see, when was this? It's not too long ago. The 25 selected for the inaugural Black Founders Accelerator. So that's one example. There are plenty of opportunities out there. Here's an example of who's this? Black enterprise that's showing the people that participated in the Amazon accelerator and business accelerator. And these are just traditional companies here that selling products and services. So people are learning the best practices and participating and getting accepted to these opportunities. So let's see, and then just in less than 2 weeks ago, they announced the cohort for the Google for Black founders, and so this time it looks like they only get like 12, but they give each one of these companies $100,000, no strings attached to it, and so that's actually pretty neat, huh?
That's amazing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to support a startup like that, I mean, it probably means everything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And these things are out here. This Visible Hands, I didn't see them until earlier this year, but man, they're like gangbusters, man. They take people from just the idea stage, and they got all this training that they give them, but they take you at whatever stage you're at, and then they give you 25 grand, and then give you an opportunity to apply for another 150 grand. But 51 founders.
I mean, it's amazing what you're doing, Aaron, incurring all this information and serving it up to your audience.
Yeah, it's just trying to help them understand that there are opportunities out there, and here's an example of Square One launches this cohort, for founders, and so they have the coaches to kind of help them out there, and then this was one from last year, $50,000. So that's pretty. I could, yeah. There's just so many of these things that's just really crazy. Here's one for Hispanic founders. I think on this one, I think they gave like maybe 50,000. I don't remember exactly, but this was real recent, and so yeah, so it's definitely a great opportunity, and so but all this opportunities depend on you. You learning the best practices and knowing how to fill out the application, and there's no shortage of opportunities, and that's kind of what's key here. And so the role your company plays, Robert, I think is a key role. And I can honestly tell you, if when I set up Cognitive, uh, we've made so many mistakes, and you know, and but having a service like what you all have, if back then that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's not just even if you knew the information and the questions to answer. A founder's job is probably running their business model, not doing all this other stuff like the paperwork behind it that we help with, or applying the things that you giving them information on, making it easier for them. It just saves them time. It just should overall benefit their product.
Yes. So is there anything you want to else you want to share before you get started with your like demo of the launch program that
No,
you all?
we could jump into that if that's the appropriate time for this.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
So
Sure.
I work on the best launch side of things. Our whole value proposition is setting startups up so that they are investable ready, based on all the experience our founder Dave S. Rose, our advisors, and our legal team has over the years setting up and getting companies to exits and institutional deals. So with our software, we try to be very clean and easy to use. We start off with incorporation. We try to be very helpful everywhere. On this page, you're setting your entity name. There are tooltips everywhere, kind of explaining each information point that you will enter. On the right side, there's usually a FAQs or something very helpful to the page. On this page, there's a link to the Delaware registry to save you some time to check if your name's taken or not. And my most favorite part, and think is the most valuable thing about our platform, is we have live customer support. When people are going through these legal workflows, they have questions. Even if you're the most seasoned founder, you still have questions sometimes. So that's a great value add. We're a software company, but we don't want to treat you like a software user. We try to really provide you tangible support. After you set your entity name, you punch in your address. On the right side, there are FAQs explaining how your address is used. The next two pages are information the IRS is collecting. They want to know what business category you're in, and just a simple sentence of what your offering is. And they also want to know if you'll have anyone on payroll for the next 12 months. This is just the IRS collecting information to forecast their workload for tax season. This doesn't actually have to be the final number until the end of the year when the course of your company has actually taken place in your tax filing. And the next page, the applicant will come here, enter some high-level information about himself, punch in a social security number, upload a form of digital ID, and that's actually it for what you need to do to incorporate. We'll let you know, we'll set your company up with a certificate of incorporation, fill out the SS4 form to help your company apply for an EIN number, and then the incorporator will approve some designation forms. There's also an expedite option, and the current lay of the land is normally the time turnaround for incorporation is about 3 to 5 business days. It's been a very long couple of years for the state of Delaware between COVID, short staffs, inclement weather, and all sorts of delays. If you were to go incorporate on your own, it's currently taking about 4 to 5 months. Even the batch incorporating services like ourselves and our competitors that give them a lot of batch, we have expedited lane. Those are even coming back at 4 to 8 weeks. So because we believe in helping our startups, To get it into the right normal turnaround time of 3 to 5 business days, we are expediting all orders at this time at no cost to the user to get it in that range. But the state of Delaware also offers an expedited lane of 1 to 3 business days at a $100 upgrade. And here's a preview of your certificate of incorporation. We'll set your company up with 10 million authorized shares at a par value per share of 0.00001 cent per share. Gus will be your registered agent in Delaware. Here is a preview of your SS4 form we fill out for you with the information you provided. If everything's okay, you hit a ready to sign modal, hit some check boxes, apply a digital signature. Now this is being submitted to our handlers in the state of Delaware. Like I was mentioning, the normal turnaround time and the expedited lane that we're putting all our users through will turn this around in 3 to 5 business days. You'll get emails letting you know if there's a problem, or once you're incorporated, you'll get an email telling you to come back here. I'm going to the back end right now to approve this filing. Give me a second. Voila, now you're incorporated. And once you're incorporated, you'll get an email notification. You'll come back here. You'll start establishing governance. There'll be an intro page explaining to you what's happening. So what you're doing here is resigning as the incorporator, setting yourself as first board member, and setting up your bylaws. You apply your digital signature to that. That's for establishing governance. Then as a board member, you'll do your first action. You'll be able to elect officers, treasurer, or secretary. You'll also be approving your stockholder agreement. These are all the terms within the document. Once you're ready to do that, just hit an easy to apply signature. And you've done your first board action. What's next is the establish ownership tool. We try to help you visualize how to think about giving up the equity to your company. This explains to you what you're doing. There's some links offer some education. This is the planner function that you can go through, kind of visualize how the ownership will play through. How you calculate ownership percentage is shares issued. That's often a point of confusion. Sometimes people account for the 10 million shares we set you up with, but that is not the case for percentage of ownership. Once you do that, you click Save and Continue and go issue your first stock grant. Again, this is what the experience looks like. There's an intro to the workflow and FAQs on the right. You are the grantee. If you're issuing it to someone else here, you can punch in their name and use their email address. You'll be able to come here and set your stock grant details, set up a vesting schedule. The values shown here are recommendations and are the defaults. A common question we often get is that this is my company and I'm the founder. Why do I need a vesting schedule? Well, that's a great question. Typically, investors that invest in your company, they want to see you with a vesting schedule just to make sure that your goals are aligned. So if you are working for the company for the time period anyway, all those goals align and it kind of doesn't matter. But they do like to see that there's vesting on even the founder shares. Click Save and Continue. This is the board approval of the stock grant. As the founder, you're also a board member. Click Ready to Sign. There's a warning about the legality of these agreements. These are actual legal agreements. They're not just a play website that someone can go to and click around and not have legal consequences. These are official legal documents. Click I understand. Hit the signing modal. If there are other board members to your company, an email will go out to them at this time, or they can click a link and open the workflow and also approve it. For the sake of this demo, there's only one board member in this company, especially this being the first workflow. And put on your CEO hat, set the stock grant date, and then here's the stock grant notice and its details and terms. It also works in conjunction with our stock purchase agreement and stockholder agreement. And once you're ready to issue it, click ready to sign. Because this is issuing to the founder, this is going to go straight through instead of sending an email. The founder will now put on the recipient hat as the grantee, open the workflow. Our workflows are also tied in with spousal consent. For the sake of the demo, I'm just going to say no and go right through. This is the stock grant notice. You've seen this, the founder has signed it, the CEO has signed it, and if they're okay with it, they'll apply their digital signature as the grantee. In this case, it's the same person. And our system will also help you generate an 83B election form. This is important to file if you have vesting. Here are instructions where to send it to with the IRS. All the user has to do, what the grantee needs to do, is print it out, fill out the remaining information, and mail it to the IRS. You must do this within 30 days. And I can't stress this enough. A lot of people, even with our reminders and stuff, they come back and say, I missed my A3B filing. There's not too much wiggle room with the IRS in terms of making this out. So we really stress that you file this the second you complete your stock. One thing our platform doesn't handle is financial transactions. The grantee will have to pay the company for these shares, so we ask for them to arrange payment off platform. Once they do that, the CEO will come here, hit a checkbox to report payment. And this stock grant is now officially completed. It will be the first entry to this company's cap table. Here's a banner telling users about office hours that you can sign up for. Our CEO and COO have bi-weekly office hours where they get into a call just like this and answer questions directly with our crowd, so they can give their executive knowledge of startup areas. Behind that is the cap table. I was saying, you'll come here as your dashboard to manage your company moving forward. We try to be very helpful. On the left side, there's 3 pillars of what's next. We try to keep you compliant. We try to help you raise a team with legal workflows, and we try to help you fundraise with safe convertible notes. On the right side, it's managed for the founder, a to-do section, other shares to issue and open a bank account. You'll also be able to come here and manage your company information, update your address as it changes, update your officers, manage your relationship with advisors, board members, contractors. We'll also help you apply for a foreign qualification in whatever state you're setting up Nexus in. We offer a whole bunch of partner perks because one of our most major user use cases are technology scaling companies. We use a lot of technology software tools here. And we have a simple financial tool to help you keep track of bookkeeping in the early stages when it's simple. When it gets complicated, we also have a corporate tax filing partner and bookkeeping service that can help you with those kind of services. Do you have any questions, Lloyd, or does anyone in the audience have any questions that I can address right now?
Yeah, I think you put up there about that investing in the stock, and when you gave us a demo, that was like I didn't realize the founders had the. I know I kind of knew it, but I just never realized the person who came up with the idea had to do the vesting as well. I think we need to reiterate the importance of that when you form in the company, that vesting part of it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to do it, but they likely will have to do it later on. Right?
Yeah.
And vesting is really there to protect the company, right? Because now you kind of separate your personal side with this company's professional operations, right? So if you have co-founders, it protects them too, right? So
that's exactly right. And so what happens in a lot of cases is you have your co-founders, one decides to leave the company, but if you've given them the stock without vesting, they're just sitting on that equity.
That's exactly right. And they're kind of holding the company hostage now with their equity ownership.
Yeah. And so, I think that I'm going to share the UO's pricing and stuff, and you can talk to that a little bit as well. So, this.
Okay.
Yeah, can you talk to that?
Yeah. So we have 3 pricing tiers. I mean, you can think of them as for $300, we'll incorporate you, get your company EIN, set up your bylaws, allow you to issue equity and complete formation. So at the end of it, you have a fully formed and compliant Delaware C corp. We'll also give you a cap table to manage, help you open a business banking account. We'll be your registered agent with the state of Delaware. And at that beginning tier, we give you 5,000 AWS credits. If you use AWS infrastructure, it's almost a no-brainer to pay 300 and to get incorporated and get 5,000 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, and I find it interesting too that you all help set up the banking account. That to me that's a little unusual.
Right. We add it as a perk because if you can use any bank account you want, but if you apply for a bank account with a bank that's not familiar with working with startups, they will make you fill out form after form and make you provide information after information and just make it all about red tape. Because we have all this information, we've partnered with a company called Brex, who is in the same spirit of helping startups like we do. We thought it was a natural fit, so we made a workflow for it. Make it so that the application to apply for it is a few minutes, just like any workflow, and you can easily apply to it without all the paperwork.
Yes, and so like I guess the type form that's for like Google Forms and in these other we can do surveys and collect information from your customers, so you're given a discount on that. And then the Webflow, that's the no code website builder, right?
Correct. I mean, and these are tools that we believe at that stage what a company might need. So take a step from that. We have great product designers that are obsessed with thinking about how to add value to our startups' lives in these phases.
Gotcha. So the next $1,000 tier. So tell us a bit about that.
The $1,000 tier includes everything in the $300 tier. But you can think of it as when your startup is no longer just yourself or your co-founder in your garage. You're starting to do things, right? You're starting to work with other entities like hiring. You want to hire an advisor, maybe a contractor. Legal agreements for that. The NDAs, the IP assignment that's in there. If you are starting to raise some money to keep operations going with your pre-seed, we have 4 flavors of safe and convertible notes on there. If you needed something custom that our software can't handle, there's also an introduction to a vetted startup attorney who will give you an hour discount to their hourly rate to something that our software can't do and custom. We also have a partnership discount there with a corporate tax filing partner and bookkeeping service. Those software discounts, they jump up in level, and there's more to what we think at this stage your company will be doing. So there's a lot of value there.
Yes, and so I understand what the AWS credits are. That's pretty fantastic. So
yeah, the AWS credits, it jumps up to 10,000 and potentially 25,000.
Yes.
The jump from 10,000 to 25,000 usually AWS requires you to start making some progress on it.
Yeah. But if you're building a software application or something, you can host that using those credits to host that. And typically, what they do too is they actually help you with what you're doing as well. So I'm not sure what's that segment thing is. I'm not sure what that is.
Segment is an analytical tool that companies can use to start measuring data on their website.
Okay. Yeah, so that's good. And I know SendGrid is the email stuff, and know what HubSpot is, the marketing tool. So like instead of paying full price for that, startups get that 90% discount. So
discounts are great. I mean, some of these discounts we use ourselves for the services that we use.
Gotcha. Okay. So so I'm trying to think. So at the if you're have the MVP and or close to getting the MVP, that probably would be a kind of good tier to participate in, right?
Again, it depends on the actions of your company. I mean, I mean, you could have had an MVP on the first tier too.
Okay. Yeah.
At this stage, I mean, it really is when you're hiring or starting to raise some money to get out there. Doing mature, a little bit more mature than from when you were just incorporating. You incorporate usually when you have the money to do so, when you need to start opening up accounts and becoming an entity, having relationships with people,
Oh,
start to
yeah.
formalize the product.
Yeah, I remember when we incorporated. It was only because we had got into an accelerator program that was giving like $25,000, and we needed a bank account too. So,
Uh, uh,
yeah, so that was pretty neat, to kind of do that. And so, who typically gets that 3,000 a year tier?
So that $3,000 tier is when your startup is making so much progress with revenue or investment or a mixture of both that you can no longer issue equity at the par value anymore when you set up. Made some value, but you still want to use equity to incentivize your new team members to work for your company. So what companies typically do is set up an option plan. This option plan will include a 409A valuation every year to where licensed financial analysts will come in, assess the value of your company, give it a fair market value that the IRS won't question, give you safe harbor, and at the end of it, you can issue stock options. It's 3,000 because typically if you use a lawyer to manage this type of plan, it's usually about 8 to 12 grand or more. So between incorporating and when you set up an option plan and right before you do a price round, that's our real sweet spot of how much value we can offer right now.
Yeah, okay. All righty. So, are there any questions out there? Go ahead and post them in there, in the chat there. So, yeah, I think this particular tool can help. Like if you got all your agreements in place, you want at least you have the agreements in writing. So if somebody's trying to sue you, or you and your co-founder break up or something, at least you got the paperwork that actually explains what the agreement really originally was.
Right. And then we're also trying to make the entry to entrepreneurship cheaper, like automated all the stuff, making it as cheaply as we can, and set you up the right way. If your company doesn't work out, we'll also help you dissolve so that you can close this one officially and then start another one at a cheap price. So.
Yes, that's fantastic. Yeah, and the I guess the guy who founded your all's company, what's his name?
His name is David S. Rose.
Yeah, and so I purchased his audiobook several years ago, and I didn't realize he was the one that actually started Gust. And
no, that's great. I'll let him know that. He's hosting a webinar in about 2 weeks to talk about the behind the curtains of angel investing.
Yeah, and see that's why I came. The reason why I reached out to you was I came across a video that he was doing a talk, and that's what made me reach out to you to kind of get a demo to see what you all had going on. And
did you show it to the previous one?
Say that again.
Did you show it to the prior one? I think he gave a master class in how to pitch the VCs.
Oh no! I think this one he was. I can't remember what it was. About an hour long, but he told a story, and I guess he tells it all the time that about the reason why he wrote that. What is startup 101?
He's got a bunch of books. Yeah, Startup 101 is one of them. Angel investing.
Oh wow! Okay, so I think I need to kind of go back and look. But the one that he was talking about was the one the publishers had asked him to write a book about how to do a startup or and he said there were plenty of books out there, but most of the books were just theory. There was no practical book out there, and so that's what he ended up writing the step-by-step approach.
I mean, I think the one that comes to mind is also the 25 steps startup checklist.
Yeah, that's probably the one he was talking about. The 25 steps to doing a.
He speaks from experience from all the companies he's invested in, and companies that he started as entrepreneur. Who better to follow the blueprint over the decades too?
Yes, Yes, and that's why I want to make sure our founders get access to the information and get to get connected to some of those webinars, because it just doesn't make sense to you know to have an idea and try to move forward with it and then do the wrong things. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull the blog post that we put up now that summarize the
okay,
25 steps that I can
okay,
share.
that'll be good. Yeah, yeah,
I don't think I can comment on this. I guess I can share it to you on the private chat, and you can share it.
yeah. I can do that.
Here's a blog post that we pulled directly from his book, summarizing, key steps that every entrepreneur should think about and do when it's time.
Yeah. Okay, let me pop it in the thing here. If I can share the screen. Okay. So yeah, this is a recent post, August 24th. Okay.
Yeah, it's a recent post, but it comes from his book that's been out.
Okay. Yep. So I'll paste it into the comments so people can get it.
Thank you. Hopefully it provides value to your audience.
Well, I definitely will repost this on our Facebook page and all our pages so people will have access to it.
Yeah, we have new blog content every week, so build that blog and come away with a very very interesting blog.
I think it's a lot of times when you're doing something, it's good to have like these 25 steps here, so you can you do one thing, then you get that done, then you go to the next thing, and so on and so forth. So you can focus on one thing at a time, but always know what the next step is. I think that's a really good approach. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, providing information and something where someone can use it and direct them and take their ease of mind on it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the are there uh, do you have any other ideas or things you want to share? Because we may end up um, yes, we may wind down a little early tonight.
Well, I mean, if your audience is interested in when they check out our platform or have any questions, then reach out to live customer support. Or you can
Yeah.
always email me, and I'm happy to work with any of your audience.
Okay. So do you want me to share your LinkedIn, or what do you want me to share?
Yeah,
Email?
you can share my LinkedIn or my email.
Okay. Well, let
You
me
can
see.
just go directly to our marketing page and find one of our team members out there.
Okay. Good. Yeah. But yeah. So I'm glad we had more time um, to work chat with you, because just getting more details, I think that's really really a good deal. Let's see. So here's Robert's contact information. It's pretty simple. Reach out to him, and yes, and so yeah, we definitely gonna have you all on our best practice list, because this idea of not you know uh, getting started correctly, everything you can kind of maybe recover from, but it's always better when you can kind of learn the best practices and kind of get it going good the first time.
I think a big part of an entrepreneur's journey is really education. Right?
Yes.
Entrepreneurs, they have an idea, I can do this and create a startup. And they're passionate about the idea. All this best practice and corporate action stuff. It's on this back end area, or maybe not everyone's so interested in. And there's a standard, fair way for everyone to do this, and that's why all this stuff is very helpful.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. Everybody wants to saying they need money or want to go jump to raising um, money, and but the bottom line is when if you don't learn the best practices, and the investors or whoever start asking these questions, or if you want to get some take advantage of some program to kind of help you go a little faster, you have they're dependent on you to be following these best practices for building a startup, because they don't want to work with somebody that's not going to actually not willing to learn or follow the proven methodology that's been going on for quite a while now. Yeah, it's a lot of good examples, and that's kind of why I showed all those um, folks that are actually getting accepted to these programs, but they're getting accepted because they are following the best practices. They're learning and following the best practices, and we want our founders to notice stuff and not make all the mistakes. And that's definitely why I'm out here trying to share some of the best practices, because I sure made a lot of mistakes on my journey.
That's a great thing you're doing, sharing all your knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. All righty. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, and so I'm gonna let you go, and Lord Junior, if I forgot anything, you can come on and remind me, because it's been a long day, right? Yeah, I know you had a lot of meetings today too, Robert.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for the time. Thank you for the space for me to share this information with your user base. And
Yeah.
anyone who needs help, reach out to us. We're here.
Okay. We'll do, and I know I like hearing all this good stuff and learning stuff. So we'll catch you. We definitely will stay in contact, and make sure our founders have access to what you all are doing.
Awesome.
All right. Take care. Bye bye. All right. So next we're looking forward uh, to coming next week, and we'll get the link out there for that event. And we're also next week we should have all the information about our, our accelerator program as well, getting that launch. And we got some neat things planned for that, and supporting our founders and building their MVP, and getting them connected to the resources to kind of expand that business. And I do want everybody to know, is like the folks that that are keeping in touch, and they're actually moving forward, and making progress. So we want everyone to come in and learn, and get connected to the opportunities. One of the reasons why I was getting um, Diana on is because she runs a nonprofit, and so just like being a founder of a tech nonprofit, like she got into the Fast Forward Accelerator program, where they give you 25 grand to work to expand your idea. And that grant opportunity is out there right now for nonprofits, for 20, I guess it closes at the end of the month, but that's a perfect example. And she's and her uh, nonprofits got admitted to a lot of other programs, where she and I are also in the Goody Nation thing, where that support system, for nonprofit and for profit startups. So um, that's pretty good. So participate, and get connected, and you and learn how to pitch, how you make money, and and so you can take advantage of some of these programs. We'll see everyone next week, and thanks everyone for participating. All right, bye bye.